Okay, hello everyone. Hi, this is Shagufta Patel. It's very nice to see all of you online today. I'm very happy to be addressing you, all of you live. So today what I do is I uplift people struggling with life challenges to get over their doubts and limitations and move forward in life. And I also bring relief to moms and dads stressed by either the behavioral, developmental, or health issues of their children. But it wasn't always like that. Now, there was a time when I was so stressed with the pressures and challenges of being a wife and mom myself that life seemed very bleak and extremely painful. And there were days when I would just stare out of the window and cry, not knowing what to do. And there were times when my blood boiled and I went red with rage. And yet there was nothing that I could do. And then came the year 2010, which was exactly a decade ago. At age 37, I decided to end my marriage of 17 years. And with my two children, then ages 16 and 12, this was by far the toughest choice and decision that I had to make for myself. I was very scared and also very fearful of the uncertainties that lay ahead. I set out without a clue to create a new life for my kids and also myself. However, in this span of 10 years, I have morphed. I've morphed from a demure, docile homemaker to now having 10 accredited national and international certifications under my belt. And what really turned my life around was a 3-step solution that helped me relieve in a big way. And now I'm committed to teaching the same solution, powerful solution to individual and parents to create a happy and successful life for their kids and themselves. So this was something about me. And to get on with the session today, let me start my screen share so I can share with you what is the solution that helped me. Give me a moment. All right, so I need the screen share option, please. All right, just hold on for a minute. I think I need to get the screen share enabled. All right, let me check. I think this is done. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Thank you for your patience. All right, there we go. There we go. All righty, so let's start. Okay, so to raise calm, happy, confident children and create a positive home environment, which is actually the real secret behind happier families, to get relief from stress and pressures of being a spouse and a parent. So let's just see how do you go about it, right? The 3 steps to empowering yourself and your kids and creating a home filled with joy and happiness. And this is for parents who are feeling lost and tired and overwhelmed with the challenges that raising a child brings along with it. This is for parents who have internally got a fear and a nagging worry. Are they doing the right thing for their child? And this is also parents who are struggling with behavioral, developmental, and health issues of their children. Also, parents who are at wit's end with the academic progress of their children. Parents who have the responsibility of children with special needs, and parents who find that their work life and family life is suffering on account of the stress felt at home. And in the next 30 minutes, you will You will discover that the problem you face is actually not the real trouble. You will learn that there is more to you than just your physical self. And you will also hear that the cure for good health is not always necessarily a pill or a trick. And you'll realize that creating a happy family is like having a baby. It takes labor to bring it to life. So you're going to learn the steps you need to relieve yourself from the stress and pressures of being a parent, get the answers to your parenting woes and worries, and create a home with confident, calmer children with improved self-esteem and a happier, closer relationship within all members of the family. And before we get on to the real thing, these are the house rules for today's presentation. What you need to understand is that the things that I'm going to be talking about is not a 2-minute quick fix instant solution. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a remedy. It's going to be custom made for everyone. And this is not a DIY technique that comes with a manual. You must be committed to working consistently on creating your happy family. So does this seem like you? You lose your temper sometimes with your child and others at home. Does your child have severe anxiety or aggression? There seems to be sibling rivalry between your kids. Your child is shy or low in confidence. You want your kids to focus better and do well at academics. And then again, is your child a bully or is being bullied at school? Does your child suffer from selective mutism and or stuttering? You or your kids have extreme fears or phobias. Your child is dealing with autism spectrum disorders, dyslexia, dyspraxia. Are you embarrassed by their socially unacceptable behaviors, bedwetting, or nail biting issues? Are you stressed with the health issues that your child faces? So if there's anything like this, and you can relate to anything of these things that I've spoken of, this is for you. And the real problem, parents and individuals, the real problem is that you have been following the traditional parenting model, sometimes also relying on the countless websites, blogs, parenting books, and workshops that give you a list of do's and don'ts on how to become effective parents. And you haven't moved yet to the empowered parenting model that gets to the root cause of the issue to get you the results you're looking for to create a family that is healthy and happy. And the thing is that doing the same things will get you the same results. You know this, you've done it before, you've been there. If something isn't working well, you need to move away from it to a new way of doing things that will get you the results you seek. We have seen this in our lives that sometimes, things keep happening repeatedly. And as much as we try, things don't seem to shift. It's because you're doing the same things and it's getting you the same results. Also, the challenges the new age parent faces is a lot different than what our parents faced when raising us. I have faced this, and I'm sure a lot of parents here face this too. Because in a matter of just a few years, there has been a gap of nearly 2 to 3 generations with the advent of the internet and other technological advancements as well. So a few years back, couple of years back, 10 years back, I was trying to be a good wife, a good mother, putting myself on the sacrificial altar of a bad marriage. I literally struggled with the conclusion of what is best for my kids in the situation that I was in, which led to my daughter giving up her studies and my son becoming a withdrawn child. And then in 2010 at age 37, I took a divorce and strengthened myself with 10 national and international certifications. And today I'm a successful people development specialist and I live and work in Dubai. And over the last 4 years, I have helped over 300 individuals and parents to create a happy, successful life with kids and themselves. So what happens once you start applying the empowered parenting model? This is what you will notice. You will have a better understanding of the cause of all the behavioral issues in yourself, your kids, and also others around you. You will have a non-invasive way to deal with major and minor health conditions of your children. And you will have a 100% safe technique that installs in your child's mind a firewall that protects them against all the negative influences. And you will find them and the home environment to be a lot calmer and a lot happier. And so here are some of the parents that I've worked with, and this is what they have to say. Chachi Devnani was a mother with two kids, and her son was, having a fear of water. And that is not the reason she came to me for. She came because he was throwing tantrums, he was very stubborn. And we applied the technique with her son. And this is what she said, that I've never seen anything so simple change so many lives, because in the end, not only did her son overcome the fear of water, not only did he become calmer, but also the relationship between her and her mother-in-law became a lot better. The relationship between her and her husband became a lot better. Then this is Ashish, who says that my son's self-esteem increased and he is much more confident now. He also says that my daughter has more positivity and love, and it has also helped clear my thoughts and my performance at work too. And Jaya, she says, I'm stress-free now. I'm very relieved. She's a teacher and also a homemaker. And what she says is, working with so many children, I never realized that, how I was showing up for my child, and handling so many kids at school was a lot different than handling my own child at home. And we did a session together where she also understood the nitty-gritties of being a parent and how it is and what it should be. And she says, now I'm stress-free and very, very relieved. Zala says the warts in my son's hands disappeared completely. So this is about a physical healing that happens where the warts on the child's hands completely disappeared. Chef Anil Raut, who works in Fairmont, Dubai, his son had selective mutism and he was undergoing speech therapy, which wasn't helping much. And we didn't stop the therapy sessions because this works in association with other modalities. It's not that we stop doing the other things, but it just accelerates and acts as a catalyst to the other things that you're doing. So after applying this, his son started speaking regularly in just about 6 months, and he now goes to regular school. And Shazadi says that her nightmare stopped and I got my life back because she had a trauma. She had an accident and she couldn't, she couldn't just go out. Her family life suffered because she stopped going out with her family. And even when her children used to go out, she used to be so worried and so scared and regularly kept calling them up, which upset the kids and which kind of irritated them as well, because the kids were grown up and they didn't like mommy calling up all the time to ask, where are you, where are you, where are you? So she said, I was having those nightmares and those fears, and it literally stopped and I got my life back. And Dr. Almash says that we are now one happy family because she again was having a lot of fears going, with her family going on. And that's just to begin with. I've worked with over 300 clients, helping them relieve the pressures and challenges of day-to-day life and uplift themselves and their children to overcome difficulties that come in the way of living a happier, more fulfilled life. So what's the new model, you may ask? So here it is. There are 3 steps to tackle the difficulties that are faced in day-to-day living and claim back the peace, joy, and happiness that your family so deserves. So what is the first step? The first step is Yana, you're not alone. You need to understand this. You need to acknowledge the fact that there is an issue, yes, and then it's okay to seek help. Because what I have noticed in my practice is that even when people have some issues, they are too embarrassed to go out and seek help. They think, no, nothing can be wrong with us. Nothing can be wrong with our children. Nothing can be wrong with our family. What you don't really realize is that it is these little things that add up to create the bigger issues later on. So yes, Yana, you're not alone. And you need to know that there are countless of parents out there in a similar situation as yours. And a lot of parents don't seek help because the belief things will get better as the kids grow up. Believe me, it doesn't. It just keeps getting on worse. Things just keep piling on, and it just keeps getting more and more difficult. And a lot of parents, again, don't believe in the alternative medicine, as it is not a very tangible vis-a-vis a traditional medicine, what they believe in. So a lot of people, a lot of parents actually don't believe that alternative medicine works, integrative medicine works. They feel that the traditional way of doing things is the right way. Traditional medicine is the right way. I'm not saying that's not right. That is correct. At times, you do need the intervention of medical doctors, and we would never, never advise you to go against that, because this works in hand to hand with all the other things that you're doing, right? It also can give you relief on its own, but if you're seeing a doctor, our advice is always go ahead with that. Don't ever stop doing that. At the same time, you need to open up your mind to alternative medicine, because yes, this is a growing field. This is a field that helps in a lot of ways, because ultimately a lot of things that you see in your physical self, it could be allergies, it could be conditions, medical conditions. A lot of the root causes are emotional based. So what we do is we get to the root cause of the problems, and we elevate it from there, so that you're not experiencing those conditions. Because as individuals, as people, we are not supposed to be having these illnesses. Yeah, they're all acquired, and they all come through some emotional blocks that are blocked in your body, and then it gets together, it piles up, and then comes out as physical conditions. So the testimonial where I was talking about, the child having the warts on his hand, which completely disappeared, he did nothing. He tried a lot of medical stuff. He tried ointments. He tried even burning the skin, and it always used to come back. And when we worked, we realized it was actually an emotional issue, and we worked on the emotional cause, and the warts just completely disappeared. So yes, alternative medicine is also something that you can explore. And then lastly, the embarrassment that comes with seeing a counselor or mental health professional is still deterrent for many, especially in India, in our culture, in our society. People are still very embarrassed to seek help, to go to a counselor. They still believe that seeing a mental health professional would mean that, am I mad? No, it's nothing of the sort. People are getting out of that social stigma. So it's always better to seek help earlier than later. Then the second step is to follow a scientific method with someone who can guide you through it. So following a scientific method is a step-by-step system that eliminates the root cause of the issues, leaving you and your kids feeling confident, relaxed, and happy. It's a step-by-step system. It's not very ad hoc, yeah, and it's not something that is not well researched and not well tried out and not well endorsed. It is endorsed. It is, practiced over a long period of time. A lot of people, a lot of practitioners, a lot of doctors worldwide have endorsed it, and so that's a proven scientific method. And someone, again, who has used the system on transforming the self and now guides others to change their own reality. And step number 3 is working on the 4 levels of the self to bring about changes that are holistic. Now, what do I mean by this? Working on the 4 levels of the self. So it's about moving from the current situation to the desired situation, which requires a kind of change. And sometimes even minor changes become a huge challenge, and the reasons could be aplenty. And this happens because we have 4 levels, and we have 4 bodies, which is the physical, which is the mental, and emotional, and an auric body. The auric body, as we know, is the aura. We all must have heard about it at some point or the other, which is the energy field around us. And for any change to happen, however small it might be, it is essential that we work at all 4 levels to maintain a state of harmonious and wholesome balance. Let me get into this in a little bit more detail. So here it is. So these are the 4 levels of the self. As you can see here, you have the physical self, you have the mental self, you have the emotional, and then you have the energetic self, which some people also call as the spiritual self. Now, the physical self, or the physical body, is controlled by the unconscious mind. Now, talking about the unconscious mind, this is also something that I want to share here, is that there is a concept of something that we call as one brain and many minds. Now, the brain, as you know, is the organ that controls our body, right? So that's the one organ that controls all the functions of our body. And the brain is the tangible part of the tangible organ that you can see, that you can feel, that you can touch, that you can dissect, that you can cut, that you can operate on, right? But then there is also something called as the mind. And it is just like how you have a physical body and you have a soul. And without the soul, the body is just a dead body. It wouldn't move, right? It can do nothing without the soul. So once you take out the soul from the body, you have a lifeless being there. It's the same thing with our brains as well. So you have the brain, and then you have something called as the mind, which is the soul of the brain. So without the mind, the brain is nothing but just a dead organ, right? So talking about the mind model, we have three layers of the mind. So there is the concept of one brain and many minds. At the deepest level of the mind is the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is roughly about 30 to 40% of your total mind capacity, and that controls the body functions and immune system of your physical self, of your physical body, right? So all these ailments and everything that's happening within your body is controlled by the unconscious mind. So if I tell you now that stop your nails from growing, or stop your kidneys from filtering the blood, or stop your liver from producing the cells, you cannot do it, right? Because this is all the automatic functions of the body, and it is controlled by the unconscious mind. Now, coming to the mental self. The mental self is the conscious mind, or the thinking mind, the analytical mind, the logical, the decision-making mind. This mind is just 10% of your total mind power. Okay, this is the intelligence quotient that you have. This part of your mind decides, what do I want to have for food today, have for dinner today, or have for lunch today? What is it that I should wear today? Do I go to the gym? Don't I go to the gym? So all the conscious activities that you're doing, all the things, all the reasoning, all the analysis, it's happening at the conscious level. And the conscious mind is just 10% of your total mind power. And it is not very well developed in very, very young children. It only develops well by the time that the child is 5 years, or roughly around 6 years. And that is why it is so easy to bluff very small children. You tell them about tooth fairies, they're going to believe you. You tell them about Santa Claus, they're going to believe you, because the conscious mind is not developed, very well developed. You put them on the road, they will run, oblivious to the dangers of the oncoming traffic, because again, their conscious mind is not very well developed at that point in time. And coming to the emotional self, which is the subconscious mind, which is the seat of your emotions, your internal software, and which automates 95% of your life. Now, this is a very, very important part. The subconscious mind, which is 50 to 60% of your total mind power, your total mind capacity. And while the conscious mind can process only about 30 to 40 bits of data per second, the subconscious mind can process 11 million bits of data per second. That is a lot of information, 11 million bits of data per second. And this is the thing, the subconscious mind develops while you're still in the mother's womb, and it stores everything. It is like a memory bank that you have, right? And the capacity of which never really decreases. So everything that happened to you in your mother's womb is always stored there. Then once you're born, everything even thereafter, every little second is stored in there. Nothing is ever deleted. You may forget it, but it's not ever deleted. So this part of you, the subconscious mind, which stores so much of information in the initial years, parts of it get together to form which is called your coding of life, which is your software which runs you. And then you know that later on when we become adults, this is where our beliefs, our behaviors come from. And you know that our actions come from our results come from our actions, and our actions come from our beliefs and behaviors. And our beliefs and behaviors come from this coding, this programming, which is happening at the subconscious level. So it's very, very important that you are programmed or coded in the right way. And this is where the sleep talk comes in for your children, because what the sleep talk does is it's working at the subconscious levels of the mind of the child and programming them in the right way. Yeah, and we can take up more questions on that later after the end of the session. Now, coming to the energetic self. The energetic self, as we know, is the aura, or is the chakras that we have heard about. Chakras are the energy points. You have the 7 major chakras that draw in the universal energy around you and supplies this energy to your body. Now, our body needs, again, different kind of energy. So food is one kind of energy that we take in. Water is another kind. Light, sunlight, we know that we need sunlight for for vitamin D. So light, we also have the light energy. We have the ground energy, which is the earth. That's why we like to walk barefoot. People recommend you walking barefoot on earth because you're drawing in energy even from earth. And then there is the universal right force energy around you, and you're drawing in that energy through your chakras. So these are the four levels of the self, and this is again, very important to work at all four levels to create that homogeneous or homeostasis in yourself. Right. Moving on, we all have heard about the Titanic and the iceberg, haven't we? The Titanic, which was a beautiful ship built in the 1940s, and it set out on its maiden voyage and never completed it because it hit an iceberg and it kind of damaged its hull underneath. Yeah. So there was an iceberg and there was a huge chunk of the iceberg underneath the surface, which kind of hit into the hull of the Titanic, flooding its 5 chambers, whereas the Titanic was only designed to withstand the flooding of 3 chambers, and that is what eventually caused the Titanic to sink. So this is what it is. You need to be on the scan. You need to scan, solve, and smile. So you need to be on the lookout for the tip of the iceberg because this is a sign of disaster ahead. And then you need to solve the real danger which lies beneath the surface of the waters. You need to strike and demolish it before it gets to destroy you. And then you need to get on your journey with confidence, enjoying the many gifts that life has to offer and do that with a real smile. Yeah. So you have 2 choices now. And what are those 2 choices? Choice 1 is do nothing at all. And that's okay. Because until a decade ago, I did nothing too. The iceberg was always there. I just didn't take any notice of it in part of the many, many warnings I had. And it just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And then one day, wham, and it was a collision. It hit me with such a force that I shattered in so many pieces. And thankfully, before I could completely sink, I gathered all the pieces. I put it all together painstakingly to put it together and to build myself again. Now, I no longer ignore the icebergs if I see one, if I spot one. And I do not want people to go through what I did. So I make sure my clients get the tools they need to smash the iceberg if they spot one, to live a life full of smiles. And choice 2 is to create happiness. And choice 2, of course, takes some effort because we know that life does not come with a remote control and you're not a tree. If you want to change something, you have to get up and change it yourself. It's not going to happen automatically. It's never going to happen automatically. Choice 2 will give you the tools to cruise the waters, having all the right equipment to get you past all the hidden dangers beneath the surface, to live a life of peace, joy, and happiness. So if this feels like you, and you want to release the stress, get back the joy of living, and create your happy family, your next step would be to book a complimentary consultation with myself to explore what is it that you truly want and how I can support you to get your heart to do this desire. And what we're going to do is this. We're going to roughly speak for around 45 minutes where we will together evaluate where you are, what you desire, and how we can get you what you want. And also on the call, we will delve into exploring what are your best action steps based on your current personal situation. So all you have to do now is fill in an intake form to qualify for a complimentary, no obligation consultation call. And again, this is for moms and dads who are wishing success and happiness for themselves and their kids, who are clueless about how to handle the situation with the kids, who are struggling with their own personal inner limitations, who are worried with the behavioral, developmental, minor, and major health issues of their children, who are concerned with the academic progress of their children, and who have tried everything under the sun without getting any results. And so you can just WhatsApp me on this number. I'll be scheduling calls on a first come, first served basis and can handle 10 calls over the next 5 days. Yeah, so that's what it is. I'm going to be now taking in some question and answers So thank you for listening to me. And I'm open to taking in some questions now and can answer you. So let's see. We have one here. Is the unconscious mind different from the subconscious mind? Can NLP help in the connection of the subconscious and conscious? So is the unconscious mind different? Yes, it is different. Different in the sense some people call it as the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. Some people see no differentiation between the two, but there is a demarcation. There is a slight demarcation, as in the unconscious is even deeper than the subconscious mind. Like I just explained to you. So you have at the deepest level is the unconscious mind, then you have the subconscious mind, and then you have the conscious mind. The unconscious literally kind of controls the body functions in the immune system. The subconscious is where is the root of or is the seat of your emotions and beliefs and behaviors, and then it's the conscious mind, which is your active or your aware state. And can NLP help in the correction of subconscious? Yes, it certainly does. NLP, as you know, is neuro-linguistic programming, where you're using language as a tool to correct or to program or reprogram yourself. Now, NLP also has certain tools and techniques, and a great part of NLP is also the self-talk. So you have self-talk as in how you talk to yourself, and there's a correct way of talking to yourself too. There's a way of speaking to yourself, because everything that you're saying internally, your mind is also listening. Yeah. So for the mind, for the subconscious mind, and this again has connections to the subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is very, very literal, right? It only takes in the context, content. It doesn't take in the context, right? And it lives in the here and the now. So it doesn't matter for it what's in the past and what's in the future. It only lives in the present. So whatever you tell us in the present, that becomes its reality, and that is the principle that we use in NLP. So I hope I've answered that for you. There is another question as well. Rules with some relaxation. Anirudh, if there's anything more that you want me to elaborate on, please feel free to pose the question, or you can, I'm not sure if you can unmute and speak yourself, but you can if you want to get like, just have like a live conversation going. And also rules with some relaxation are necessary. Rules, is that a question, or Matukia? I'm not very sure if that is a question or if that's just a statement that you're posting there. Rules with some relaxation are necessary. Can you just make that clear for me so I can answer that for you? How does one can correct the unconscious mind, Anirudh? Thank you for your question, Anirudh. So again, NLP is one way of doing it, wherein again you have some techniques with either you can learn it yourself, or you can go to somebody who practices, who's a practitioner, who's an NLP practitioner. And the other way is, of course, hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy or hypnosis is one way where you can tap into the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind is also, of course, at a deeper level. And some people actually call it one and the same. They don't see there's any difference between the subconscious and the unconscious. So the only way to do that is to tap into the deeper levels of your mind by a process of hypnosis. So you get into hypnosis, you get in a state of hypnosis to access your subconscious and your unconscious mind, because that is where everything is happening, right? And you can make the corrections there, change the programming, change the coding, access the unconscious also. We have heard of so many miraculous healings of cancers, of tumors being healed by just doing hypnotherapy. So this is what happens. You tap into it and you get to the root cause of the problem, and you just eliminate it from there, which actually eventually leads to the healing of the body itself. Yes. Any more questions that we have here? All right, I don't see any more questions coming up. Okay, there is one. What should we do when the teenage child back answers? Okay, I don't see any name here. I think it's just your phone that's popping up, Galaxy A70. So what should we do when the teenage child back answers? Now, you need to understand here that if the teenage child is back answering, there is some kind of internal fear that's going on. It's a behavior, right? And just like the iceberg that you have, now all the behaviors that we see are actually just the 10% of the surface behaviors that we're seeing. The underlying cause is something very deep, and the 90% of all of that is underneath the surface, right? So these are just table talks that we are seeing. The child answering back, tantrums being thrown are just the surface behavior. It's just the tip of the iceberg that we see, and the major cause and the issues are actually all underneath the surface, right? So what you need to do when your child back answers is something that I teach in conscious parenting as well, which is part of the entire program. What you could do is you could just have the antidotal energy here. So if the child is back answering, and if you start scolding him and shouting at him, it's not going to help. It's just going to aggravate the issue. So rather meet the child at the place where he is and do your best to understand what is it that he's trying to convey. Because trust me, no child likes to get into a tiff with their parents. Yeah, no child likes to upset their parents. No child wants to get into a space where there's a tiff or there's a conflict between them and the parents. Because parents are parents and children are children after all, right? And so, yes, of course, shouting makes it worse. Definitely it does. So if you shout and when he's back answering, it's just going to make it worse. So there are certain, in the conscious parenting session, what I do is I teach parents the 6 myths, the 6 shifts they need to make as parents, and the 6 skills they need to learn as parents. So first we debunk the myths and we learn to make some shifts, and then we learn some skills which helps you a lot with your teenage child. And then again, as I explained earlier, we've got 4 levels of the self, yes? So we've got to work actually at all the 4 levels to create a change which is holistic and which is lasting. So just working at the conscious level, just working at the subconscious is not going to help. I mean, it does help. It does help. But then to get a better result, you need to be aware that you're working at all 4 levels of yourself. Anirudh, can you give some more details of the empowered parenting model? Can you suggest any books one can read to get some more information about it? Well, there are so many books that you have out there, Anirudh. The empowered parenting model is something that I have developed myself because I have done a couple, like I said, I've done 10 accredited international certifications. So I've done NLP, I've done hypnotherapy, I've done M-braining, which is multiple brain integration techniques. I've done Peace Talk, I've done conscious parenting, I've done pranic healing. I've done, a lot of stuff, which is my quest to help me and my kids, right? So this is, you will not find this in any one book. What I do is I've put it all together to give you the model that I'm talking about. And if you want to read books, I'm sure you'll find a lot of books. Dr. Shefali, I know, has come up with a book which is about the conscious parenting. I think her book is one of very great books that I've come across. So you can follow her. There she talks about conscious parenting. And then again, like I said, I like to work at all levels. I like to work at the conscious levels. I also work at the subconscious levels. And I also encourage parents to work at the energy level as well, because everything is interconnected, you see. We are an amalgamation of all 4 levels. Is there any therapy to remove any past bad memory? Yes, of course there is. Of course there is. There are, hypnotherapy is one. So you have the phobia cure in NLP. So that's one technique in NLP, which they call the phobia cure. You can also do it in hypnosis. So in hypnosis also you can get into a bad memory. You can just remove. Okay, understand one thing here. I want all of you to understand one thing here. So if there was a past bad memory or a past bad event, you cannot ever delete it, right? So everything is stored in your subconscious mind. Like I said, your subconscious mind is a memory bank, virtually unlimited. So as you keep growing older, the capacity of the memory bank just keeps on increasing. Nothing is ever deleted. So whatever happens, even in your mother's womb, everything is stored over there. You may not remember it. You may not remember what happened in the womb. You may not remember what happened when you were 1 week old or even 1 year old, but it is all stored in your subconscious mind. So if there is a bad memory, you will not be able to delete the memory, but you will be able to alter or change the emotion associated with the bad memory. So what happens in a bad memory? So when a memory comes to us, and it's a bad memory, it just brings back the feelings and the emotions which does not make us feel good. It either, depresses us, or it just gets into a state of anxiety and stuff like that, right? So what we are really doing here with these techniques and with the help of these processes, we are getting to the root cause of the memory, and we are changing the energetic, or we're changing the energy of the emotion associated with it, so that it cannot disturb you anymore. And that's what really we are doing. There's no way that you can erase the memory completely. The memory is always going to be there. But once you do this, it's no longer going to disturb you if it disturbs you now. So I hope I've answered that for you as well. And do I have any more questions coming in? Thank you. Thank you. Do I have any more questions? So again, I would just like to put my number here. Like I said, I'm just posting my number here. And if anybody wants a free, no obligation consultation call where we can just discuss more about what is it that you want, just send me a message. I'm going to send you an intake form that you need to fill in. And just send it to me so we can get on a call and just decide what are the next best steps for you to design your desired life. All right, I think I need to put it. There you go. Any more questions, please? Yes, I've just posted my number here. So you can send me a WhatsApp message and we can connect. Do I have any more questions? I don't think so. All right, then I would just like to thank all of you for being with me on this call. Okay, there is one more coming in, Harshad. What can I do for bad dreams which disturb sleep? All right, so again, if there's a bad dream which is disturbing your sleep, this is something that can be totally cured with hypnosis, and you can just get to the root cause from where it started. So here, what you do is you get to the point where the dream started for you, Harshad, and you eliminate it from that point in time. Because if you started bad dreams, it's obviously coming from somewhere. Yeah. So you can just get down to the root, to the point where these bad dreams started for you, and once you uncover that, what are causing those bad dreams? And I've worked with one person. His name is he lives in Bangalore. So, what is his name? Sailesh. So I've worked with Sailesh, who had this case of nightmares and bad dreams, and we worked on it, and he got relief from that as well. So all his bad dreams and all his nightmares have stopped, and he can now focus better on his family. He can now focus better on his work, and he did say that after that everything got so much better for him. So yes, you definitely can do that, Harshad. What are the sessions that I'm offering? So I do, and this is coming from Galaxy H7C. May I have your name, please? I always like to have names. It's so much more personal. All right. So what are the sessions? Messina. Thank you, Messina. Thank you, Messina, for sharing your name. Beautiful name, I must say. So Messina, the sessions that I offer, image management is one of them. Now, what is image management? This is also a very, very interesting concept. How many of you have heard of image management? Or you can just put a one if you have, and two if you haven't heard of it. Can you just put a one or a two there, so that I know how many of you know what image management is, what image is? It's a very, very interesting concept, by the way. All right, so Rima says she knows. Yeah, go ahead, put a one or a two. Put one if you've heard of it, and two if you don't know what it is. All right, so only Rima seems to be answering here. All right, so image management. Now, what is image management, right? This is from where it all started for me as well. When I was working with Femina Magazine, when I was working with Times of India here in Bombay, that was about 8 years back. I worked with Femina for 3 years. That's when I was doing business marketing and business. You know, I was doing MBA in marketing, and after having finished MBA in marketing, I didn't find it exciting. I didn't like it as much, and I was exploring what more can I do. What is it that would excite me? What is it that I would really love to do? And once while just walking up and down the aisle of the office, Times of India always had the Times of India newspaper open, and I was just flipping through the newspaper, and I saw this beautiful ad that caught my attention, and I went and explored it. Image management. So what is image? Image is how people perceive you. Okay, so what people see in you, how people remember you. That's your image also. So once they've met you and how they remember you. And image management is very important for everyone, not just for working professionals. Now, image has three elements. So when I talk of a person's image, and here we're talking about personal image, okay? So image has three elements. It is I call it the ABC, which is appearance and grooming, body language behaviors, and C is communication. So the first thing a person notices in you when they meet you for the first time is obviously the clothes that you're wearing and the grooming, the way you're groomed, okay? And we know it for a fact that people like to do business and they like to interact with people whom they can trust. So it's very, very important in your professional context, in your social context, in your personal context, everywhere. So coming back to this concept of image management, so we say ABC. And when I'm talking about appearance and grooming, appearance is your outer self, right? How do you look? And again, when talking about clothes, there's the elements of clothing, which is line, shape, color, texture, pattern. We talk about the international style scale. We talk about the yin and yang of clothing. We talk about the yin and yang of personality and appearance. We talk about personal colors. We talk about body shape, body proportions. We talk about what colors are best for you, because there is something called as predicted value outcome theory also, which is actually a research and theory proposed by Professor Michael Funafrank, where he says that impressions are made just like this, 5 to 7 seconds, and people have made an impression about you, and that's coming from these concepts of image that I'm talking about. So appearance and grooming is one. Then comes body language and behavior. So your body language, you're also talking through your body language, the way you sit, the way you walk, the way you shake hands. So all these are body language. Your eye contact, the way you're smiling, all of this is body language, right? And then is your communication. And communication, again, is visual, is vocal, is verbal, right? And there is the communication model also by Professor Albert Mehrabian from the University of California, Los Angeles. And what he says is 55% is visual, 38% is verbal, and only 7% is vocal communication. And in the 55% also includes your body language, also includes your appearance. So your appearance is literally your visual resume. So image management is one of the things that I teach. And then of course I do the sleep talk with parents. That's looking at the subconscious levels of the mind. This is, and so there are a lot of other things that I work personally with individuals to design the kind of life that they want. So we get on a call, we understand what are the underlying, what is their current state, where is it that they really need to go, and then we design bespoke programs for them based on that. So Messina, that's it for you. All right, so I always have another question. How to get rid of the forgetfulness? There's no name here. All right, so I'm just answering this. How to get rid of the forgetfulness? Okay, so forgetfulness is also coming from a place to get, again, you get down to the root cause. Where did it start? How did it start? How can we strengthen it up for you? Self-talk is one way of doing it. To make yourself, to train your mind to remember more. So there are some techniques that you can do. There is the peak performance technique in NLP that you can do to help you with this forgetfulness issue. There's also hypnosis that you can do to install in your mind. And there's, again, this is a kind of a belief, this is a kind of limiting belief that I tend to forget. I know it's a fact. I know it's a fact, okay, that you tend to forget stuff. But then again, this is not something that cannot be resolved. It definitely can be resolved. It's just a matter of getting you to that level, getting to that performance level where you can remember things is definitely doable. And Harshad also has, okay, when, how can I do it? So I think I've already answered that, Harshad. How can I stop bad dreams? Yeah. Beautiful. So do you have any more questions? I'm loving this. I'm loving the interaction here. Thank you. Thank you for posting your questions to me. All right. All righty. Okay, I think we're done. I think we're done. So thank you. Thank you for being online for so long, for staying with me on the call. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My number is there with the Tribe Center. If you want to reach out, please feel free. And I'm looking for some messages coming in so that we can connect. And saying bye to all of you. Have a great evening ahead. Have a great Sunday ahead with your family. And so long. Bye-bye.